Hello, everyone. Thanks so much again for coming to Rescott Creative. Today, I have my cousin, Heather Deiter, here to talk with us about her art. Hi, Heather.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's summertime.
I'm so ready for it.
Yes, I think we all are
Hmm.
ready for some being outside. I changed it up a little bit this time.
Nice. It looks gorgeous.
So, yeah. Well, can you start by telling us a little bit about your background in art? What kind of made you interested in it?
Well, I've been interested in it since I was a little kid. I remember just always thinking in my head, like, oh, I want to recreate what I'm seeing in the world. And I just spent lots of time just trying to practice those skills. And I even went to art camp when I was a little kid, and I
Oh,
did
nice.
AP art in high school. And I've just kind
Now,
of,
what is APR? Oh, AP art.
yes,
Okay.
yes. So,
Oh,
like,
nice.
honors classes,
Right.
whatnot. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So, did you do art camp even as like a little bitty? Or I know my daughter starts art
Uh,
camp next week, so she's really excited.
I might have been around her age actually. I think,
6. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
she's 6.
something around there, maybe a little older, but it was fun. We got to
Yeah.
play with clay, and that was always great. I loved that. Got to make little
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Hmm.
What's kind of your favorite like medium or material to work with?
Um, that is a good question.
I
My
know I put you on the spot.
well, no, that's okay. My favorite is probably colored pencil if I'm doing a
Really?
portrait. But the problem with
Nice.
that is it takes a really, really long time. But you can get the most precise with a colored pencil, in my opinion. Most fun, probably clay or sculpting. Um,
Yeah.
but digital is what I do most of my drawing on just because it's so much easier to use and so much faster, and I can do more with it. It gives you more options, I think.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, what is your process when you start like a new artistic project, usually?
So I always try
Like
and,
with digital or
yeah,
in
anything I
general?
do, I try and see in my head first. I'll spend a lot of time just kind of planning it out before I even put anything to paper or screen, I guess, in the case of digital. I like to go on a really long walk before I start a project and just kind of like process things. I'll put on some music,
Nice.
kind of like let my brain go for a minute. And then once I usually get like, oh, yeah, that's what I want to do. Then I'll write it down on my phone, come home, and kind of do like a rough draft before I finalize anything.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, because I know a lot of writers like to, go for the walk to kind of think about it, but I hadn't thought about that really for artists as well. So you can like visualize it in your head as you're walking then.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, when it comes to doing the digital, I thought it was fascinating that you do like layers. Is that right?
Oh, yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, tell us a little bit how that came about and what that entails.
Basically, what I do is I'll start out with a pseudo colored pencil. I'll usually do like a light blue and then just do a really rough sketch on layer one. And then that'll be my reference for the rest of the layers I do after that. So I'll start with my little rough sketch, and then I'll usually do background colors, fill those in. And then on top of that, I add a new layer where it's detail work, and then another layer which might be lines or text, things like that. And then I kind of flatten them all together to make one big image at the end. And you can even do like a final layer of gradient if you want to change colors or add like sun flares or things like that, kind of filter it up in
Oh,
a
nice. So what would be like a sunflower then?
kind of like what I did on the background of your cover. I did a
Oh,
little
nice.
um,
Okay.
circular gradient. I don't know if you can see it super well,
Yeah.
but in the middle there, that's what I
Oh,
did.
cool.
To kind
Yeah.
of a little pop, little 3D pop.
I like that. That looks really cool. So kind of lighter in the
Yeah,
center and then darker on the edges. Yeah.
like a
Oh,
vignette
fun.
type of deal.
Well, I know you worked on several children's books and then commissioned paintings as well as the cover design for my young adult fiction book. So how do you adapt your style to fit such a wide variety of projects?
Well, I take a lot of inspiration from other artists, so depends on what the project I'm trying to do. whether it's the writer, usually is what I like to do, um, or other illustrators, old masters, depends on what it is. I'll kind of see what the project's tone is and then find inspiration from there and then kind of adapt my style to that, to match the theme of the piece.
Yeah, so like tell us a little bit about your work for this children's book then.
Now that one that's got a long history to it. I started out doing watercolors, actually, like physical watercolors for those.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
But I found out that takes a really long time. If you need to change one of the pictures, you have to completely repaint it. So
Oh, wow.
that's actually
Yeah,
what got me into digital,
that
is
makes
having to
sense.
redo those paintings so many times. I was like, well, there's got to be an easier way, and turns out there is.
Right.
So
Yeah, you don't want to have to redo that, yeah, each time.
yeah,
So,
exactly. And
so yeah.
that's it was a fun project, but it took a little while to get the style the way I needed it to match
Right.
the author's vision. So
Right.
that's actually what
That
got
makes sense.
me to digital.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. So then with mine, you did the digital and you did the layers, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, can you tell
With
a little
either,
bit like, yeah, tell us like what are some of the different layers that are on here?
well,
Sorry, is it coming in backwards? Probably.
no, I mean, well, not to me, but
Okay.
um, I like on the instruments, for example. So what I did with the tuba is I would do the base kind of gold, like the medium color gold. And I just
Okay.
the basic shape of it. And then the next layer I did would be the black. And so I did like the really dark shadows and I colored those in. And then what I did after that was do kind of like a in between black and the medium tone, do a little bit of shading with that. And then
Nice.
lastly, I did the highlights. So that would be my last layer, is just going on top of it with the highlights. And it's a lot easier
Oh,
to do it in layers so they don't all blend together. And I kind of wanted them to be stylized, kind of
right.
uh, like not harsh lines, but close, like a very
Nice.
obvious illustration. So that,
Yeah, I love that. And then how did you kind of come up with for the characters then? How did you kind of come up with how like their positions? I love how they've got that kind of relaxed look. They're looking at each other. You came up with the whole treble and bass clef there.
I just honestly is another thing that kind of just popped in my head. It was just an inspiration thing. I wanted it to be something that incorporated the music and the characters like you did with the writing. So I wanted to incorporate that with the art, but kind of in a fun way. Like the writing's really fun, and I wanted to make the characters seem kind of warm and personable, and give them a sort of relationship before you even open up the book.
Yeah, I love it because the cover, it really, I mean, people do judge a book by its cover. And so fortunately, people have really loved your cover. And I think you're right, because you gave that good relationship between the characters there. I thought it was excellent. So yeah, I've gotten a lot of good feedback from it. So yeah, now tell us a little bit about when you're doing your own, or I guess, well, I was going to say painting commissions. I know you've done a lot of those as well. What kind of styles have those been?
Oh, I've done a whole bunch. I've done anything from several pet portraits, which would be like a realistic one, a very stylized kind of pop art looking one. I've done some abstract. I've done a lot of kind of more realism. I did my most recent one I did was a painting of I forget. It was actually one of the historic buildings in Pennsylvania, and the girl
Oh,
who wanted
nice.
it really liked bunnies, so I put little bunnies in front of it. It was kind of cute. So, but
Oh, that is so
a
cute.
realism style, so a little bit of everything.
Oh, that's awesome. What's your favorite style? Like, so if you could do your ideal, um, you know, painting or sketch, what would be kind of your favorite style?
Well, I love kind of surrealism. Um, Surrealism, or more like realism with like a hint of something weird. So
Okay. What was the time period for that? I should know this as the sister of an art history major.
uh, really early 1900s, late
Okay.
1800s
That
ish.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I like, the dollies and things like that, but I just like portraits that are a little otherworldly, just a little bit, but.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, that's very fun.
Like,
Who's your favorite artist?
oh gosh, I can't even tell you.
Or
There's so
couple? Who would
many.
be a couple of your favorite?
Well, as a kid, my favorite was always Monet. I loved
Yeah.
Monet.
Yeah.
I love Dali. He's one of my
Obviously, we love, yeah,
yeah,
Monet flowers and
exactly.
gardens.
Um, gosh, Mondrian. I have a lot really. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, easy to see excellence in everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I know you have a background in film as well as art.
Hmm.
So what kind of projects have you worked on in regard to that? And what do you look for in a story and story structure? And I know you also have done theater too. So your film and theater background.
Well, my favorite is I like comedies and kind of more of a dark comedy where it's a little, you know, twist that you wouldn't necessarily think of normally. I used to write my own when I was in film school, and so that
Right.
was
I think I remember,
mhm.
like being there when you were finishing up one of your projects.
Yeah, I like character studies, so I really like stories that are focused more on people versus events. Like my
Okay. That's definitely my preference as well.
Yeah, I don't necessarily need to worry about the storyline. I'm more worried about how the storyline affects the person in the story, if that makes sense.
Yes. Oh yeah, totally. I'm definitely more character driven, and then I have to remember, there's got to be some kind of plot.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, where
Mhm.
some people it's all like plot driven, but then they have to work more on
Yeah.
developing the character. So
Well, I
yes,
think,
can you
yeah,
tell us just a little bit about that one film? Do you know which one I was talking about? That when you were,
my final film, maybe.
I think it was your final
Yeah.
film. Like, just give us in a nutshell what that was about.
It's called Mustache Mike at the Funeral, and it was the last in my Mustache Mike trilogy. And
Oh, nice.
basically, it was my friend Mike, who's actually named Mike, but I kind of
Oh, nice.
named it off of him, which I don't know whether he should be offended or not, but it's this really awkward guy.
Never make friends with artists, writers,
Right? He named
you
something exactly.
end up and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was this really awkward guy, and by the last film, my last one, he had started dating this girl, the girl of his dreams, and her grandmother dies, so she has to go
Yeah.
to, or he has to go to the funeral with her, but they haven't been dating for very long, and he's never met her family. So it's basically just him trying to traverse the world of awkwardly meeting his girlfriend's family for the first time at her grandmother's funeral, which is a terrible setting for that, and just kind
Yeah.
of how he dealt with it. It's kind of fun. Lots of weird relatives in it.
That makes me really grateful for my husband because we started dating, I think, right after his grandmother's funeral, but
Yeah.
he did not make me go to it and first meet all of his family at the
Yeah.
funeral. So there you go. He decided to wait till after that.
Yeah,
And then we started dating.
pretty awkward, at least in my film it did. It was
It
not
did turn out pretty awkward.
fun.
Not the best. Not the best. Oh, that's awesome though. I love comedy too. So yeah, that's cool. What advice would you give to young artists that are starting out, maybe in art school or even little artists, like my daughter,
I would
as
say
they are embarking on their journey?
just practice and have fun with it. Sometimes if you try and be perfect and make your lines perfect, it can kind of ruin it. And so it's
Yes,
really
I
easy
see the
for kids
perfectionism sneaking in
to have
already,
this
even at 6.
problem myself. So sometimes I have to be like, just enjoy it. It's okay. So I'd
Yeah,
say, yeah, just, do it if you love it and keep practicing, and you'll get better if you're just doing it. It doesn't have to be perfect all the time, but you'll
I
get.
love that.
Mhm.
Yes, very cool. And where can we find some of your work online, or if somebody is interested in having you do any children's book artwork or cover designs or commissions, where can they contact you?
I do have an art Instagram. It is
Oh,
Feather
nice.
Fox Art. I'm not very good at posting. I'm not
At Feather
very
Fox Art.
social.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not very social media-y, but it is technically in existence.
Okay.
So
And they could send you a
they,
DM there or
yeah,
something.
they can send me a link there.
Perfect. Or contact me and I can put you in contact with Heather. Yes.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate it.
No problem. It was fun.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.